Hey, do you like boobage and a deeply impactful, immaculately woven emotional story about love? Then The Princess.
Will find you.
Heart, lungs, liver, nerves. Heart, lungs, liver, nerves, heart.
Slay the Princess is a staggeringly ambitious title, and a deeply humane one as well, because it dives into the facets and very essence of what love is, and what consequential choices one has to make to achieve it. What makes Slay the Princess's love story work so well is how it's grounded to reality despite being on a cosmic scale. A paradoxical dilemma. You're set on a path of a never-ending quest of slaying the demonic princess, hidden deep within the basement of a cabin in the woods. How you got here? No idea. Why are you in charge of this? No answers. But if you don't do this, the princess will soon escape and doom the entire world. That, paired with hundreds of different choices, each branching to a different narrative that compels you to do everything you can to unravel the mystery behind the princess without costing your life or worse.
That's exactly why I'm not gonna stab you. It'd be boring and predictable, and those are two of the things I've never been. That's it. Thank you for getting closer, sucker.
Everything goes dark, and you die.
Bullshit. Absolute bullshit. No, that.
It's time.
Wait. Oh, you barbarian, what are you doing?
The explore options in the dialogues are a game mechanic that gives you a means of uncovering more exposition without actually progressing into the story. You enter the cabin in Chapter 1, on your way to the princess. Your choices have consequences, of course. They reflect in Chapter 2, where you really meet the princess.
I didn't think you'd come back. We're gonna have a lot of fun, you and I.
And if you survive that, you enter Chapter 3, where all hell breaks loose. And the princess usually does too.
You turn to the left. You turn to the right. You decide it's best to do nothing.
There you are. I told you I was going to find you.
Each time the princess breaks or makes you in Chapter 1, you end up in Chapter 2 with new voices to accompany you in your head, born from the specific notion that she afflicted on your being.
Comes a wave of blood.
Are you ready for what comes next?
Holy shit. She's gorgeous. Absolutely divine. Yes, behold, the perfect woman.
The voices in your head, along with the narrator, constantly argue and bicker hilariously throughout the game, accompanying you in the hunt for the princess.
No, wait.
Whoa, what voice was that?
It's the voice of your brother, dumbass. Move it. It's my turn.
But what do I do till then?
Go sleep the dishes or something, I don't know. Okay.
Anyways, speaking of voices, none of this would hit nearly as hard without the colorful voice of the narrator and 30 other personas in the game, voice acted by our very underrated Jonathan Sims. A famous British writer, voice actor, musician, and game designer. The devs were a huge fan of his work on his cosmic horror podcast called The Magnus Archives, which is essentially a horror fiction anthology podcast examining what lurks in the archives of the Magnus Institute. Black Tabby Games were excited at the thought of having him voice the key characters of Slay the Princess, and oh lord, he didn't disappoint.
and you can feel yourself begin to untether. Physical sensations dull and then vanish, until the only things experienced are the endless repeating patterns and emotions of the journey, a continuous march forward to a destination long forgotten.
Along with the voice of the Princess Nicole Goodnight, a VTuber that just happened to be voice acting one of the characters in the previous game of the devs, Scarlet Hollow. The devs saw her live stream and were amazed at her performance and thought her range and voice would be perfect for the role of the princess. Just two people enacting over tens of thousands of different dialogues, scenes, and endings. This creative voice acting alone brings a level of immersiveness that so many of these romance, comedy, horror, or philosophical novels fail to deliver. And it makes you truly resonate with it. It's a concept that many visual graphic novels fail to achieve, which is making your narrative not just be seen, but also heard. However, that's not to say that the visual world building of Slay the Princess is a joke either. This is what really pulls you in. Its gothic horror art style allows for a fluid medium of contrasting the game's imagery from sometimes an abstract nothingness resembling chaos and disorder to sometimes meticulously woven seams, inspiring just amazing storytelling. The devs themselves designed the artwork and decided to continue in the 2D pencil drawn mania that is this animation, for giving this game its ever so shifting and dreamy aesthetic. Every element of this game just complements each other so well, like an insect crawling from the depths of a cocoon, with each stone layer bringing forth a revelation, till you finally see it emerge.
It's finally over, isn't it? Hey guys, sorry for interrupting, but if you're liking our content so far, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe. We're kinda new here and this is just our second video on the channel, so any kind of support just means a lot. Anyway, back to the video.
We wanted to make this video because Slay the Princess is definitely well known in the visual novel community, but it's not nearly as popular in the mainstream entertainment media. And that's exactly why we wanted to bring this masterpiece to light. It goes to show how amazing stories and ideas could be executed when they're made from true ambition and not just for the corporate purpose of milking the same franchise for money.
Okay, I'm back.
You done with your dishes?
Yeah, go do laundry now. But anyway, I want to take this moment to talk about the devs. Black Tabby Games, a beautiful indie dev team of husband and wife who poured all their hearts and souls into making this. After their first and only other project, Scarlet Hollow, an episodic horror game which is still ongoing. However, the devs decided that they wanted to make another visual novel and a horror story, this time having a much more simpler scope while delivering the same huge emotional impact. Their initial inspiration came from another game called Claim Your Free Bit Buddy Today, and the couple were absolutely fascinated at the idea of such a seemingly tiny game having such enormous storytelling and creativity, essentially trying to make more with less. And this was exactly what they needed as an early game team working with whatever resources they've got at hand. So they grabbed some ink and paper, started game jamming video game ideas, concept artwork, elapsing over a cosmic scale of horror storytelling, but all the while still being grounded to only one character on a screen and a few locations. Another major inspiration for making Slay the Princess struck from episode 3 of their previous game, Scarlet Hollow, with 9 different characters presented on one screen, inspiring the idea of having one character being multiple different characters at different times. With such a relatively small-scale project compared to Scarlet Hollow, this allowed the creators to go full out with the idea, getting to experiment with everything. composing and entirely orchestrating music, gathering their favorite voice actors, sticking to 2D pencil drawings for the artwork flexibility and quicker production time, and finally finishing and polishing the game in every single aspect possible. These guys love their product so much that they publicly announced that it's okay for people to pirate the game if they can't afford it. It's genuinely inspiring to see the love and effort that went into making this masterpiece. Although, please do buy it if you can. It really is worth it and truly well deserved for the effort. I think the moral of their story for every creator or artist out there is that you should try to make more with less. For creativity only ever strikes when you put a little constraint on it. Oh yeah, and remember, the blade is your implement.